first time that we played the game of Butterfly Effect Wrestling, I rebooked the World Wrestling, not Federation, Entertainment, the company of WWE, without the Universal Championship because I didn't want it, and elevated the Intercontinental Championship to be equal to the world title, because in some people's minds it was always the Workhorse Championship. And so, this time around, I shall not be booking anything. Josiah will be taking us through a journey where John Cena doesn't turn heel on Rey Mysterio and take the WWE Championship from him, what, less than an hour? Less than 2 hours, definitely.
It was about an hour and 15.
Yeah. After he won it.
Won the vacant title after CM Punk technically left the company.
Yes. Put it in his fridge.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Put the WWE Championship literally on ice. Oz. Obviously, this one's very close to my heart. You know, Rey Mysterio is my favorite wrestler.
Well, and so is John Cena.
And exactly, and that's why when I saw, oh my God, it's John Cena versus Rey Mysterio, the young me was so excited, so happy. Of course, I was less happy after Rey lost and John had the championship because, again, I love John and all.
Isn't that the same night the Punk returned?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Literally everything happened all at once.
Yeah, it was like the world is being put on fast forward.
Yes.
You know what it reminded me of, or reminds me of?
What does it remind you of?
So, this came later, but, so I guess you could say Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice reminds me of the night that everything happened all at once, where John Cena wins another world title, and then CM Punk comes back and raises up the title. It's like...
It was quite literally stuff for stuff's sake.
Yes.
The truest form of the word. But yes, as Oz recounted, in that night, so first of all, Money in the Bank happened in 2011, just to give some backstory.
Context, yep.
So CM Punk, of course, made the now infamous threat of, I'm going to win the WWE Championship.
My contract will expire at midnight, and I will be champion,
Yep. And then he quite literally did just that. He beat John Cena for the WWE Championship. He blew a kiss to Vincent K. McMahon. And he exited through the Chicago crowd.
And I love that Vince and Laurinaitis were out there to try and get the title back.
Yeah.
It was so...
And they did everything. If you remember correctly, they sent Del Rio out to try and stop him.
Freshly re-signed.
Yeah, that's right,
yeah.
Yeah. In more recent news, WWE's acquired AAA.
Yeah.
Great. But, yeah, no.
I have a question about AAA.
Sure.
Do you know what AAA stands for?
So it's Spanish, so I don't actually know how to say it, but I think it's pretty much like Aztec, Lucha, something.
Oh, okay.
I'll be honest with you, don't remember.
At least Aztec is an A word, and so that would make sense for there being an A in there. Yeah. But I couldn't conceive of two other A's.
Yeah, it wasn't good. Maybe association.
Association feels good. I bet we're real close there. I'll probably pop up what it means.
Worst case scenario, we're probably wide off, and it makes perfect sense in Spanish, but neither of us speak Spanish.
Absolutely. I've just always been curious.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't know if you ever watched this show, but...
This show? I mean, we only had 2 episodes, so...
What I mean is, there was an MTV show called... It depends on which episode you watch, because it sometimes looked like it was called Masked Warriors Lucha Libre USA, and other times it looked like it was called Lucha Libre USA Masked Warriors, because it felt like they couldn't get their stuff together.
Okay.
And
was it an actual like Lucha Libre show?
Yeah. So what it was, you know, Wrestling Society X, right?
Yes, very familiar.
So after that failed, and after all the WWE tie-in stuff they would try didn't work, they said, oh, you know what? We'll just license wrestling from Mexico and didn't matter what style of ring it was in, where it was happening. None of it made any sense. It was terribly cut, and like I said, they couldn't get the continuity together to get the logo right. I was like, and it was syndicated, so it was like 1 week it'll be on at noon, and the next week it'll be on at 3 in the afternoon, and the following week it'll be on at like 8 p.m.
Nice.
It's like, what how is this ever going to work? Basically,
Well, I guess the answer was it didn't.
That's correct, it didn't.
Because I don't know what this is. I've never heard of it.
So there was only one character that, okay, there were a bunch of good wrestlers, but there was one
Well,
character.
yeah, but I mean, Mexico is full of good wrestlers.
I was going to say, there was one character that, and it's a struggle for me to put it this way, but I'm going to, for simplicity, I'm going to say there was one character that got over, and it was R.J. Brewer, because he was pretending to be Jan Brewer's nephew, so she was the Arizona governor, I think, at the time, and she was trying to deport people, and so his whole gimmick was, I'm helping my aunt get these luchadors out of the country.
Out of the country, okay, yeah.
And so, like...
So he did the JBL before JBL?
No, it was way after it.
Oh, was it after? Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So he had a template to follow.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. Totally off topic, but I was just
it's
like...
fine. This is entertaining.
While Lucha Libre USA Master Warriors or Master Warriors Lucha Libre USA, whichever one it goes by, didn't make any sense. At least I understood all the words in the title, whereas I don't know what AAA stands for, is the point.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter now. There'll be NXT Mexico in 3 years.
Oh, you think so?
Probably.
Okay.
That's my timeline. I'm thinking a year to let everyone get used to like what AAA is going to be now.
Mm-hmm.
Another year to like start slowly changing things. And then year 3, they're going to be like, all right, we're going to change this. Going to get rid of this mega championship thing and change to a big NXT.
Mm-hmm.
And then like maybe have like a Mexican flag in the background.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
Like, it'll be something of that nature.
Well, the funny thing is, if if AAA actually stands for something logical,
a lot of triples in there.
yeah, then I could totally. At one point I conceived of NXT AAA.
Yeah.
So
honestly, I would be fine with that NXT AAA.
Yeah, that was
it's like a branding thing.
The original branding, but also the
Yeah.
the one that Triple H likes.
Yeah. Out of curiosity, did you watch a lot of AAA?
I only ever watched CMLL and AAA when I lived in California because they were always on.
Yeah,
like, I didn't understand a thing that was being said.
Yeah, but you didn't need to.
It was good wrestling.
I understand good lucha things.
Exactly. Yeah, so, like, it was just easy because they were always syndicated on the local networks. So,
Gotcha.
But anytime I didn't live in California, I don't really keep up.
Yeah, it's really hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because one time I saw, I think it has to be one of the Triple Manias, but I don't know which of the 90 Triple Manias it was. But I want to say it was like around 2017, 2018.
Okay.
This is when I was like trying to watch as much wrestling as humanly possible.
Got it.
Because WWE sucked.
Sure, that makes sense.
But like they had a really good card, and I think they had, I want to say they had Omega. It was the first show I ever saw Vikingo on, I think. El Hijo de Vikingo, not OG Vikingo.
Right.
I think it was the first show I ever saw Psycho Clown on. Big fan of Psycho Clown. Really like that guy. And it was a really fun show. Like it was like nothing I've ever seen before.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like so different from, because especially at that point in time, like I watched Japanese wrestling, I've seen American wrestling. So it was the first time I've seen like Mexican wrestling.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
like what Lucha Libre is about. So it was a fun show to watch. I've heard Triple H has drastically gone downhill in the last handful of years.
I gotta say that one of the things I'm very much looking forward to, both from WWE's acquisition of AAA and AEW putting on a show in Arena Mexico,
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
is seeing the American production on the Mexican product.
Yeah.
Because both shows, AEW and WWE, are so good at the glitz and the glamour and the Hollywood of it all. Because at first,
that's very American. Yeah.
I was going to say, at first AEW was not exactly
that drastic as far as production.
yeah, it wasn't that flashy, but ever since they've gone to this like
giant LED screen.
Exactly. It's just it pops.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're not saying that's a bad thing, it's just
No, I like the that
aspect.
Yeah, it's just clean.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that will help definitely bring American eyes onto both
both
Mexican products.
Yeah, hopefully. I'm definitely because I feel like the main thing keeping me from watching CMLL and AAA is pretty much accessibility.
Of course.
Like I have nowhere to watch. Like
Yeah.
I don't know where to get it.
I forget who it was. I don't think it was Brian Alvarez, but it could have been. But some wrestling reporter said that AAA has a Mexico exclusive Max streaming deal. But it's like, well, what good does that do me? I guess unless I have a VPN.
I'm about to say if you have a VPN and you just say I'm in Mexico.
Yeah, but outside of that, like
doesn't really benefit.
Yeah, it doesn't do us any good. So.
Yeah. I'm about to say I don't know why they're making Mexico exclusive. That kind of ostracizes.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
A lot of
ridiculous.
audience.
Part of me thinks it's out of laziness because there are so many things that, like the UK had, that I'm like, well, why can't we have that, guys?
Yeah.
Wrestling wise.
Yeah, of course, I get what you mean.
But yeah, 2011.
Sorry. What were we doing? Giving background, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
We just got off topic a little bit.
Yeah, it happens. But yeah, so CM Punk blows a kiss goodbye, and he is gone for all of a week.
Two, because one. Oh no, you're right. On the second week is when he returns. Yeah, because the first week is when they run that condensed
That's when they
tournament.
start doing the tournament.
Yeah.
And I don't remember all the matches, but I remember the people in it were R-Truth, The Miz, Rey Mysterio, obviously, Dolph Ziggler.
I think that's it, wasn't it? It was only 4-man because
Yep.
John wasn't in it.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
No, that's a lie. It was Kofi Kingston, because it was an 8-man tournament.
Oh, okay.
And 3 other people, which eyes will flash. up the
Sure.
tournament
Yeah, I'll look up
brackets.
the tournament bracket.
But point being, those were like the main prevalent ones. The point being, the finals were contested between Rey Mysterio and The Miz, who had main event at WrestleMania.
That year.
About to say, 4 months prior or something.
Yeah, something like
This is
that.
around in, I want to say.
Well, we're building to SummerSlam, so.
Oh, so that'd be in August then.
Yeah.
Early August. But so Rey Mysterio wins the world title, wins the vacant world title. I'm sorry, in a match against The Miz. That was a match against The Miz. This is Miz at the time. People aren't used to him yet, but he is at the peak of his heelness, as the kids would say. So the threat of him winning was a possibility. So Rey Mysterio becoming the WWE champion for the first time in his career
Absolutely never held that spinner title.
was a massive deal. Massive deal for little Josiah sitting on his couch, jumping up and down, so excited. I wish I had a Rey Mysterio match, but I didn't. But if I did, I would be wearing it.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But, so, Rey wins the championship. He goes backstage, shakes everyone's hand. Everyone gives him his rightful props and appreciation. And in comes Jonathan Anthony Felix Cena. And says, that's a great job, Rey. That's a real nice title you have.
See you in the main event.
See you in the main event. And then Cena proceeded to beat him, pin him, win the WWE Championship, and then CM Punk came right out, and we
Yeah, they did the confrontation, yeah.
threw away so much story possibility.
Mm-hmm.
So much story possibility. So, what if that didn't happen? Well, let me tell you what would have happened if it didn't happen.
Yes.
I don't know what the catchphrase for the show is, 'cause I don't think we made one
I
yet.
don't think there really is one.
Yep.
But I mean, the concept of the butterfly effect is you change one thing and it changes everything.
Exactly.
And so, I guess the phrase would be, here's how everything changes by Rey not losing that night.
That's beautiful. I love that.
Thank you for being here at Mr. Super Oz. This video is going out, and this channel only exists because I, Oz, founded Gamble Comics, which first release was Everlasting Survivors, a 68-page graphic novel called All Day Long. Available now. Follow the link in the description that will take you to gamblecomics.com. While there, you can get hats, shirts, posters, much, much more, but most importantly, the story itself.
So I'm going to do a real simple first shift. So instead of Rey Mysterio versus The Miz for the WWE Championship opening the show, it's going to do this real crazy thing where you take the opening match and put it in the main event
Makes
so that
sense.
it ends the show.
Yes.
So, just with that one thing, that one change, let me tell you all the things that have already changed. One, Rey Mysterio ends the night as the WWE champion.
I like that. Yeah.
What a concept, I know.
Keeps the title.
Keeps the title. Number 2, CM Punk does not come back.
Mm-hmm.
Again, very important because so many other things can happen, as I'll get to later on. So, with Punk gone, I don't know if anyone remembers this because it technically didn't happen, but before the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, Vince McMahon made a specific promise to John Cena.
I do remember this now.
And he didn't do it, and then Cena just won the belt back.
Yeah.
Well, in this world, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Because Vince McMahon follows through with his word and fires John Cena
Last week.
Yeah,
it makes sense. Yeah.
For losing the WWE Championship to a guy who is no longer under contract.
Yeah, it's choices, consequences, or action
Exactly.
consequences in this case. And no, that makes good sense. I think that would have made better sense for them to do it that way.
Yeah, they should have. They really should have.
Because it reminds me of that whole lockbox bull crap they did with Shane McMahon. So why set it up if you're not going to pay it off?
I'm about to say you're literally dangling the carrot and then you just leave us hanging.
Nothing. Yeah. So that makes much more sense.
Yes. So Cena's gone. Rey's WWE champion. Next thing we have to focus on is what's Reigns' title reign look like.
Mm-hmm.
Well, to do that, we got to look at the hot players in WWE at this time.
Can I interrupt for a second?
Yeah, absolutely.
So Punk is out.
Punk's out.
With the title.
Yeah, he's not in the company.
But he said in the pipe bomb that I'll take this to New Japan and Ring of Honor and yada yada, right?
You know, I'm real glad you bring that up, Oz. And the reason for that is because the first thing that changes is that CM Punk will be defending the WWE Championship on the Indies.
That's wonderful. Yeah, because again, it's fulfilling the promises that were made.
Exactly.
And so what I was going to say is my thought, what makes sense is what I mean by that, is that wouldn't John blame Phil for him getting fired? And so then he'd be in hot pursuit of
old Charles Manson? Punk?
Yeah, the man who made it happen. It's like, man, the things that make sense.
Yeah, simple stuff. The simple stuff.
And let's say, for instance, in
You're
the
right.
real world, that there was an agent sent with them, an agent of chaos named William Regal, for instance, who's out here scouting. Ooh, who can we steal? What can we do? Can we take over Progress? Can we buy Evolve? Like it's like it all was for a purpose.
All makes sense in the end. Yeah, I'm really happy you said William Regal scouting too, because two of the people I had Punk defending the title against were obviously Chris Hero,
Ooh,
who
okay.
was real hot in ROH. at the time,
Absolutely.
and another guy who was real hot in ROH at the time, El Generico.
There
I
you go.
don't know if you. It's been years since I've seen the guy.
Scouting
So
talent. Yeah.
I wonder if he's okay. I mean, I hear he's still building those orphanages in Mexico.
Love it.
But yeah, listen, legend of the business. But yeah, those are two guys in ROH because I had to literally double check because I watched ROH at this time, but it's been 13 years.
Absolutely.
So
ain't that crazy?
that's insane. Couldn't remember who was hot at the time, but these were two guys like I looked up and down the roster. I'm like, okay, these guys could take a loss and it not kill them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you certainly don't want it to be Tyler Black.
No, can't be Tyler Black. Can't be
Kevin Steen.
Roderick Strong.
Yeah, Strong.
Kevin Steen.
Yeah.
Davey Richards, Eddie Edwards.
So that makes sense. I like that.
Yeah, couldn't be the Well, I guess it could have been the Briscoes, but
Yeah.
they're deep in the tag ranks. I think
Yeah,
they're
it just wouldn't make
tag
a lot
team
of sense,
champions at this
exactly,
point in time.
Yeah.
Actually,
All the time.
Yeah, all the time, baby. Yeah, no, I don't even think Jay broke out. Yeah, he hasn't won a first world
not
title
yet, not
until
yet.
3 years down the line.
Yeah.
So yeah, wouldn't even make sense to do Briscoes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Chris Hero, El Generico, perfect.
No, I'm with
Perfect
it.
contenders.
I think that's smart.
They're realistic enough that if they win the WWE Championship, the streamers and confetti will fly.
Whew.
The world will cry in joy.
Right.
Babies will smile.
Now, imagine if you will. Now, I know this ain't going to happen in your booking, but imagine if you will. Rey Mysterio, spinner belt champion, and El Generico, spinner belt champion, unification match.
Unification.
Hilarious.
That would have been a 5-star classic. Which reminds me, completely unrelated, obviously.
Of course.
But has Sami Zayn and Rey Mysterio ever wrestled each other? Because it's not coming to mind for me.
I wouldn't know why, but I guess there was a minute where Sammy was heel.
Not only was he heel, it was this conspiracy theory.
So it's possible.
He was a heel for like at least 2-3 years.
It's possible.
But I think it was while Ray was not in the company.
Yeah, or hurt, because there was
Yeah.
a couple times where
There
he
was a
out.
section where he was out. You're
Yeah.
right. And if he wasn't hurt, Sammy was hurt.
Possible, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't come to mind if it happened.
Damn, what a world. Well, Triple H, make that happen. 'Cause I want to see it now that I said it out loud. So obviously, that's Punk covered. We know what he's doing while he's out and about, strutting his stuff, whatnot. Because Cena's fired, obviously he can do whatever he wants. So maybe in any show he's defending the belt, and instead of Punk just pinning a top indie star, maybe Cena gets him DQ.
Yep.
And Punk has to run off with the belt. Or
that lead count out.
Yeah, or lead to a count out or something like that. Fights to the back, crowd boos obviously, but protects
here's the other thing. It's also a big surprise.
Exactly.
Like it's not like we're advertising John Cena will be here tonight. No.
Exactly.
So there are positives and there are negatives, but
Indeed.
I think the positives outweigh the negatives.
I
that
agree.
case.
I agree. Also, I mean, it's 2011. I think seeing any massive star of the caliber of John Cena and CM Punk at your $5 indie show is probably...
Yeah, when I saw Ring of Honor in Charleston, West Virginia, so do you remember who Steen beat for the world title?
Yeah, it was David. Yeah, David.
I saw Shelton Benjamin, Charlie Haas, Cedric Alexander, Kevin Steen, right?
Damn, that's a great cast. Okay.
Yeah,
awesome.
and I'm pretty sure Richards and Edwards were both on the show too, but my point was, Kevin Steen stood out to me as a stand-up guy because he not only was world champion, but he asked me, hey, do you want to hold the world title? I was like, yes, sir, I do.
What a great guy.
And so my point is, if I'm at a show, and even a guy who I don't particularly care for in John Cena shows up, I'll be like, oh, that's money well spent.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Definitely a win in all regards there.
Yes.
So, obviously, while that's all happening, what's Ray doing? This is about WWE, dang it.
Yes. And he's the champion. So
He is the champion. Well, Ray has to, like I said, the hot players at the time were The Miz and R-Truth.
Mm-hmm.
The Awesome Truth, if
Yes.
you will. Two top class guys. Literally, it wasn't at Mania. It was what's the pay-per-view before Mania? Was it Elimination Chamber or something? No Way Out?
one of those.
Yeah, one of those. Whatever it was. Pay-per-view before. You remember when Cena and The Rock tagged with each other?
Oh, you're talking about Survivor Series.
Was that Survivor Series?
It was Survivor Series. Never before, never again is what they call
That
it.
was the tagline.
Yeah, it was the tagline. Never before, never again.
Yep.
Although the funny thing is now they could do it again since
They
they're
could do it multiple times.
pseudo-aligned.
Yep, they could do that multiple times over. I mean, The Miz and Truth broke it, but I mean, they could always...
Right. But the tagline was for Rock and Cena specifically,
Yeah.
that they never before tagged and never again will tag.
Absolutely. Well, obviously, when you lose big matches like that...
And it's
Yeah.
actually the Survivor Series that's to come, because that's the show where
Oh
Punk
my
wins back
God.
the title.
Yeah, you're right.
But regardless, I'm with you on what you're talking about.
All right, this is the downside of booking stuff in the past, is you forget what happened in the past.
Yeah, but it stood out to me that Alberto Del Rio lost the world title to CM Punk early in the night, and Rock and Cena went on last. And although that was just a foreshadowing of all of that 434-day reign.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Poor Punk. Yeah, actually felt bad for him.
I actually think that's more than anything else. I think more than the injury, that's what led to him walking out, was the knowing that even holding the title longer than a year, I still was never looked at as a guy.
He was never the top guy.
Yeah.
Ray will spend the next few months wrestling the likes of The Miz, R-Truth, Dolph Ziggler when he needs a break.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, damn, I need a 5-star classic. Dolph, what you doing?
We're still on the show. That's what
Still
we're
on
doing.
the show. Bring him on down. I think Dolph was the U.S. champion at this time, but he was also like a few months away from holding the tag championships at the same time.
Talent.
So it doesn't really matter.
Well, and personally, I think that this would be a great time to accentuate Kofi Kingston's athletic ability, because I don't know about you, but I always thought it was ridiculous that he got that one shot with Randy where he, in his...
Forgot one spot. And then,
Well, I was going to say in Randy's young arrogance said stupid, and it cost Kofi, 10 years of his career?
Casual 10 years.
Yeah, it's like, my goodness.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Kofi still won championships. He did this,
yeah,
he
I
did
just
that,
mean top
but he
guy.
never...
Yeah.
Kofi should have been an upper echelon guy.
Yeah.
And...
Because, like, to me, even if he didn't win the strap, I felt like he was...
earmarked to at least be up there.
Yeah.
Upper mid,
Yeah.
the top tier
Like,
guy.
imagine, if you will, Edge in his Ultimate Opportunist era, cheating a very popular Kofi Kingston out of a shot. I was like, oh, that's almost that Jeff Hardy era.
I mean, he did do that in the Elimination Chamber.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, tie into the story is all I mean. Yeah,
would have been perfect.
Yeah,
yeah. What a world we could have lived in, but didn't.
Yeah. I'm glad it eventually happened.
Yeah, me too. And honestly, that happening made it more special in the actual moment itself.
Oh, for sure.
At least for me and all the New Day fans out there. But
I just need Xavier to get his time to shine.
Hey, listen, he was king of the ring, and I unfortunately, based on where he is in the car right now, might be the ceiling. Which sucks because he's mad talented.
Absolutely.
Mad talented. But hey, it's all good. It's all good. Give it time. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
So, obviously, the key thing different in all this whole scenario is as Rey's defending the title, obviously we still have that hanging sort of Damocles situation with Del Rio.
Yes.
Still trying to attempt to cash it.
Well,
so,
here's another thing. They have a pre-established history, so that actually works out nicely for them.
I'm about to say, that's Lucha Libre heritage, bro.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know if their families have feuded or whatever, but
I wouldn't doubt it.
Wouldn't surprise me. So
Ray was Del Rio's first opponent in WWE.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And so like from day one, they've been at odds.
They've had that natural feud, But so bunch of defenses, a lot of fending off of Del Rio's cash-in attempts, and it keeps working. Obviously, Ray defends the title against The Miz and R-Truth in a triple threat match successfully,
like that
at SummerSlam.
Triple H not special guest referee.
Oh no. We try to avoid those at all costs there. However, we get to Night of Champions, which is the month after.
Yes, where Triple H beat Punk to halt his momentum.
You got it. Man, another thing we just
narrowly missed. I remember this too good.
Yeah, unfortunately, so do I. That's why I try to avoid it at all costs. So it is in that night as Ray is successfully defends the title against Dolph Ziggler, that Del Rio successfully cashes in. Same way he cashed in on Punk, the 5-second kick to the head.
Yep.
And his destiny.
Yes.
Remember his destiny.
Yeah, I
He said that every effing week.
Yeah, exactly. It was his favorite word.
Bruh. Anyway, so Del Rio finally wins the WWE Championship. That's awesome. That's great for him. Whatever. Who cares? Because John Cena's back the next night on Raw. Now, how do we get here, Oz? So, obviously, Vince McMahon, while he is chairman of the board, he still does answer to a few higher powers. Now, granted, it is quite literally a few.
Yes.
But one of said few is Miss Linda McMahon.
Yes.
Who is on I can't remember what the actual official title is. I'm going to say member of the board or whatever.
Sure. That's fine.
Don't remember the actual terminology. Point being, financially, it does not make sense for them to fire John Cena since he's 1,000% the top merch seller.
Yes.
At this point in time.
Oh my goodness! I gotta interrupt your thing.
Oh.
Did you see who cracked the top 3 merch sellers over the past week or two? Karrion Kross.
Really?
Yes. Ever since WrestleMania weekend, where he cut scathing work to shoot.
Yeah, I remember.
He's been climbing the ranks of the top merch sellers.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's
good for him. Bro.
He's outselling John Cena, which is amazing because all they do is sell John Cena stuff.
Yeah, I'm about to say. At this point, they just put the John Cena stuff out. It's like, okay, I guess if we got room, we can put other people.
Yeah, it reminds me of the time that Zack Ryder broke the number 1 spot. It's like, well, clearly everybody's buying the literal one only thing you got, whereas everybody below him, Punk or Cena or whoever, they had nothing but options.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so happy for him.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Hope that does something for him. Hopefully.
I think that definitely, because that's how Jey Uso got to the main event spot. I mean, obviously he opened the show, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That carrying the world title position is by selling merchandise and being over with the crowd.
Hey, win's a win. I mean, listen, it's gotten to the point now, like, because I can't catch every episode of Raw because I have a job. But when I do catch it, and I can see the promo seconds. Every time Cross comes on the street now, there's an audible cheer.
Yes.
Even when he's backstage, there's an audible cheer.
I love that guy. I mean, him and Scarlett are just they're
a perfect match.
Yeah.
There's such a good such a good time. I'm so happy to hear
You,
that.
you know who I give credit for his success, right? Other than himself, obviously.
I was about to say. I mean, I'm.
Chris Van Vliet.
Oh yeah.
I think Chris helped humanize.
He does a really good job of that.
I mean, obviously he does it with everybody, but I mean, like Kevin Kessler on Chris Van Vliet's show just helped make him
Seem like a human.
absolutely, yeah. And it's because like that's what seeing him there is what made me think, oh, I want to push this guy to the moon.
I'm about to say that. Was, honestly, that interview was when I was like, do I really like this? Because I liked him before. I thought he was cool when he was
Yeah.
Killer Cross
Yeah.
on the Indies and stuff. And then I was like, wow, Vince hates this guy. All right. And I was like, okay, I guess that's his career at WWE done. And then he came back. And I'm like, all right, I like him, but it's not. It's like, okay, big whoop, right?
Yes.
But then, like, I see that interview, I'm like, I want this man to win all the championships.
So the one that did it for me was Jesse Ventura with Will Sasso with Killer Cross. It's like everybody here is just like, oh, this is money.
Like, I love this guy. Oh man, no, that's awesome.
Yes.
Oh man, okay.
But yeah, bringing John Cena back because he sells merch makes perfect sense.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just it was a company decision. Vince can't overturn it.
Yes.
And I mean, since they did it with Ray,
Of course.
you can have him just have the match with Del Rio and beat him on Raw.
Yeah.
Because I don't care about Del Rio.
Right.
So we have now swung back
Mm-hmm.
to the original timeline with John Cena defeating Alberto Del Rio to become the new faux WWE champion. But when you have a fake champion, you need to have the real champion.
Yes.
And then, so this would be, I think, 3 months after the fact, CM Punk finally returns to the WWE. Now, why did he return to the WWE? I hear you ask us. Great question, Oz.
Well, to me, it's like what you said. It's like you've got the pretender, and I've been proving myself to be the real deal.
Exactly. And that's the whole point. And Punk comes back on one condition only. Again, this is for
Living
men
color.
that- Not, yeah, that too. Okay. Comes back on two conditions only. One is to get in living color. Great decision. 2 is to prove who the real WWE champion is at Hell in a Cell in Hell in a Cell.
Oh, nice.
And honestly, I didn't book that. I don't really care because that's past the Rey Mysterio point. The point that mattered the most to me personally was that Rey Mysterio had a reign
Hold
as
on.
WWE champion.
Well, since
Go ahead.
tag me in. In Hell in a Cell, the real life version, Miz and R-Truth got involved.
Oh yeah, right.
And so what you can easily have happen, not you, but in your mind, have this happen. Miz and R-Truth jump John Cena in the match. They cut a hole in the cage, whatever.
However they got it.
And CM Punk retains the title. That leads to, at Survivor Series, yeah. Punk has both titles, puts one down because he don't need the fake one.
Yep.
So at Survivor Series, you have Never Before, Never Again, where Miz and R-Truth take on John Cena and The Rock. And at Survivor Series, you have Alberto Del Rio challenge CM Punk, and he taps out because that's what he did at Real Survivor Series. He tapped out. Now, Punk doesn't win the title because he's already got the title because he never lost the title from Money in the Bank.
Yep.
And so he actually has a much longer reign with the title. And let's just do something crazy here. Let's close it out and say CM Punk main events some dang shows as champion.
Whoa, let's not get crazy. We still gotta have Rock and Cena main event everything.
I was gonna say, they can still main event Mania, right?
Yeah.
That's fine. But like he can main event freaking Backlash instead of it being John Laurinaitis versus John Cena. Come on.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot that was even on the show.
So, yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Appreciate you. Next month, when we venture back into the Butterfly Effect Wrestling timeline, the little, when we pop back in, I will book, depending on money too, I might actually have the strap.
Oh,
because
for real?
that's kind of been one of the real reasons I've been putting this off. But I will book the first ever Black WWF champion. Do you know who was the first guy to hold it in the real world?
Was it Rock?
It was Dwayne. That is correct. And
Doesn't count. He's half black, half Samoan.
Sure. Whatever. I know a lot of people do say that.
Joke. No, he's black.
Yeah, I mean, his dad sure is.
Yeah.
that part was obvious.
I'm about to say that's set in stone.
But
But nah,
Yeah,
cool.
it's gonna be fun. I
can't wait.
It was
I'm a big fan of this guy.
It was.
I also already know who he is. So.
It was the. Oh, I'll just say it. It's Ron Simmons. Because I'm sure I popped up the graphic already. But my point is, this was the idea that launched the concept, and the only reason that Drew and the IC title went first is because it came in the mail.
Yep.
And like I said, I've always loved the Winged Eagle, so if money will allow, I'll pick me up one because love that thing.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Thank
Right
you.
show. Right
Appreciate
show.
you.